Ito dalawang makapatilan. Ito lolo mo, ito nasa right side ko yan. Ito yung tatay ni Howard. Ito on.
Wilson is anong grandfather ni Michelle dyan? Ay, lolo niya.
Gusto mo mag-picture sa tabi ng picture? Oo. Yung chairman ng Paco. Yan, lola.
Masya mama.
Vice President. Tapos yung nasa kanan, kapatid. Lolo niya. Tapos yung nasa right side, kuya ng lolo niya.
Wade.
Luwet.
Okay.
Ang dalawang vice president sa organization.
Thank you.
Thanks. Shelby.
Good morning. Pwede kayong umupo muna. We'll start the program. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mamaya may photo opportunity tayo.
Hello. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Binigyan ako ng trabaho rito. Here is a plaque of recognition awarded to Michelle Marquez in recognition of her achievements as Miss Universe Philippines 2023. Top 10 finalists at the 72nd Miss Universe pageant held on November 18, 2023 in El Salvador. The Federation congratulates her for these achievements, which brings honor to the Filipino-Chinese community and the country. Given this 12th day of December 2023 at East Ocean Place Restaurant, pero pinalitan yung East Ocean, ginawa Federation, Paranaque City. Yung date, instead of 12th day of December, naging 28th day of, 28th of December. Signed, Dr. Cecilio K. Pedro, President, Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industries Incorporated, attested by Dr. Fernando Gan, Corporate Secretary and Secretary General. Let me first greet our Miss Universe Philippines and one of the 10 finalists in the Miss Universe pageant in El Salvador, Miss Michelle Marquez D. Let me also greet the GMA Network Inc. Vice President, Angel Javier Cruz. Diyan ba si Angel? Ayun, nandiyan yung Angel, guardian angel of Miss Michelle. To the esteemed friends from the media, lahat ng mga taga-media, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Respected colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, wonderful officers, members of the board, and distinguished vice presidents of the Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Incorporated. Good morning to everyone. I extend my warmest congratulations and welcome on behalf of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industries Incorporated, or FCCCII. That's doon kami kilala. FFCCC, tatlong C, remember? Dalawang FFCCCII to our distinguished honoree today. Miss Michelle D, Miss Philippines Universe 2023, and a top 10 finalist again of the Miss Universe pageant held in El Salvador. As a fellow Filipino of Chinese descent, or Chinoy, okay, we take immense pride in celebrating accomplishments of Michelle, who is the granddaughter of our Federation's former Vice President and the late China Bank Chairman D. Ki Chong. Yung picture na nandun, number 7 daw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tingnan lang ninyo, kamukha ni Michelle. Another past Vice President of our Federation was also her grand uncle, the late civic leader D. Hong Lui. Michelle embodies the values of what I describe in Filipino as dugong Chino, pusong Pinoy. Kami po'y dugong Chino dahil may Chinese blood, Chinese ancestry. Pero kami po'y pusong Pinoy. Mahal namin ang Pilipinas. Ito ang bayan namin. Ito. Dito kami pinanganak, dito rin kami mamamatay. Hindi kami aalis dito till death do us part. Tama? So, kailangan tulungan natin ang Pilipinas. Michelle, cherishing her ethnic Chinese heritage, promised to learn Chinese within 3 months. And being an exemplary Filipino citizen, contributing to Philippine progress. Michelle's late grand-uncle, pre-war Philippine Chinese Chamber of Commerce president and 1920 China Bank founder D.C. Chuan, as well as her paternal great-grand-uncle, the 19th century Philippine lumber industry pioneer, entrepreneur, and civic leader D. Han Kia. Both were also known for their philanthropy. Philanthropy is deeply rooted in the Confucian tradition of Chinese culture. With a lineage steeped in civic causes, it is no wonder that Michelle, a unique beauty queen, possesses both a philanthropic heart and an idealistic commitment to her civil causes.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me here, for recognizing me and my endeavors at Miss Universe. Of course, I was so thrilled to receive the invite, as I've always known my grandfather was the vice president here years back. And if there's one thing that I can say about the D family is that for whatever we've done, and this is consistent for all the Ds, whatever we do, we really aim to serve. We really aim to give back and do whatever we can to make sure that the Philippines becomes a better place, whether in our small or our big endeavors. Of course, we all know that during Miss Universe, during my whole campaign in El Salvador, it would not have been as impactful if my core purpose wasn't intact. And my sole purpose was to ensure na sobrang magiging proud ang lahat ng Pinoy. Everything that I did, I put yung pusong Pinoy integrated into my whole story, into my whole journey, whether it's small, like my wardrobe, or big, like my national costume. From the videos to the people that I touched, from the advocacy efforts that I did, it was all about trying to make the world a better place, the universe rather, a better place, but also to do my part, which is to utilize any platform that I've built to really create that positive impact around the world. Many people might already know this, but if it wasn't such an amazing platform, if I could not do the good that I could do using the Miss Universe platform, I would not have the energy to sustain beauty pageantry. Growing up, of course, I already knew my mom was an iconic beauty queen, but growing up as a young girl, I did not dream to become a beauty queen because I thought it was just women walking in gowns. And I didn't, kung kilala naman ako, very athletic ako, but it's when I realized the amazing things you can do with a platform such as Miss Universe and even my other international pageants, it really sparked and ignited something burning inside of me, something that I knew I could utilize, something that I could really take advantage of to really support my lifetime advocacy, which is towards autism awareness. Alam niyo naman po na I have 2 siblings on the autism spectrum. I have one older and one younger. Kaya this is an advocacy that I did not choose, but it chose me and it gave me such a greater purpose. Of course, working with Autism Society Philippines for as long as I can remember and servicing them, which we are the largest autism NGO, not just in the Philippines, but in Southeast Asia, has truly changed my life. So hopefully with this platform, with my campaign that I work with them, which is towards autism, inclusive work around the Philippines and also around Asia, hopefully it really sparks the right conversation. It gets us to ask the right questions as well. And magagamit natin ang platform na to really create opportunities for those that need them. Sabi po ni Chairman that it's up to us to really create a world that is better for everyone. It is the holidays, and again, paano naman namang may kapansanan. So hopefully we also do our part to make sure that we positively affect those around us. And so all of us watching, all of those that are watching, I hope you can truly take some advice from my personal journey, which is to really walk with intention. Don't just walk, don't just talk, but walk the talk, because your actions will always speak louder than words. And as long as you have the purest of intentions, in whatever you do, you can never go wrong. Kaya ako, I trust in the universe, I trust in each of our timelines, and I always walk with a very grateful heart. And with that, I would truly like to thank the FFCCCII Chamber for recognizing my efforts. Maraming salamat po. I'm so excited for all of the work that we are about to do. And of course, I am so proud to be representing the Chinoy community. Kitang-kita naman po sa mata ko. And sa apelido ko that I'm very proud to be Chinoy. So again, thank you so much for being here and spending the morning with all of us. And maraming salamat for the recognition as well. Well, you know, the platform has such amazing chances to really create positive conversations, like I mentioned earlier, to really spark the right conversations. Of course, it is through our individual actions and our influence that can really ignite those changes. Of course, the best that I can do is really lead through example, lead through my core purpose, which is to never step on anyone's toes, which is to make sure that I don't offend anyone. Of course, I know there are bigger issues between the Filipino and Chinese community, but I'll leave that to the respective departments to sort all of that out. For me, my goal is to really best represent the Filipino-Chinese community in the best of my abilities.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Hi. Good afternoon to all.
Good morning.
Hi, Mom. I'm Tin from Today PH. My question is, what could have stopped you from doing the Miss Universe? Were there some instances that made you think about it?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
thank you.
Actually, if you didn't know, I did join Miss Universe in 2022. I won first runner-up, and that was also after that loss. Of course, all respect to the winner of that year, but after that loss is when both of my parents got into accidents. I became the head of 2 families. I do consider that year one of the hardest years of my life. But it was also through that struggles that I had, that sequence of events, that I knew that there was something more. It was a back and forth motion because going through pageantry is actually very tiring. I could have easily retired, but again, I knew the value of growth, the value of always trying to be better as the day goes on. And I knew exactly where I messed up in the 2022 season. I don't like feeling the what ifs. I don't like living a life of regret. And there was something that happened right before I applied that convinced me to pursue Miss Universe 2023. And if I didn't have that mindset, that perseverance to really do things even if it was hard, because pinagsabay ko ang napakadaming responsibilidad while fighting for the crown. I even got emergency surgery right before coronation night, but I still knew that I was on a mission, not just to win the crown, but to be the voice of millions of individuals on the autism spectrum. And with that greater purpose, it really pushed me to really fight for the crown and win it. Thank you. Ako, mahirap yung second. Parang bawal ko pang sabihin. Pero in terms of your first question, syempre, marami akong pwede. I always see life, and everything that happens in life happens for a reason. It's either a lesson or a blessing. It's hard to choose one because I feel like ang dami ko nang pwedeng advice na mabigay especially sa mga kabataan natin on how to walk through life, how to use their own influence in small or big ways. Of course, everything that I did throughout Miss Universe had that core intention. Pero it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Marami pong paghihirap just to get to where you want to be. There will be a lot of bashers. Kung alam niyo rin po, I was one of the most heavily bashed Miss Universe Philippines after winning. But I won everyone's heart through hard work, dedication, and that perseverance of really trying to be the best representation that we all deserve. Kaya that's something that I'm very, very proud of. But, you know, it's really seeing all of your accomplishments and everything you do with a silver lining, with purpose, with dedication. And if I had to sum it all up, because there will always be naysayers, if I had to sum up my whole journey, it's really just knowing your why, knowing your purpose, and everything will flow from there. Ang dami kong exciting na projects that are coming up, from series to movies to endorsements, but unfortunately, I'm not at the liberty to announce them yet. So abangan niyo na lang po, marami po kayo naabangan for next year. I answered this earlier upstairs, but you know, every year my goal is, it sounds simple, but it's not that simple. It's really to become better, to find growth collectively. Of course, 2023 was a year of struggles, a year of triumph, and everything on repeat. And I've learned not to give myself such a strict timeline na by tomorrow dapat matapos to, by the next day dapat matapos to. I see my goals as very introspective. Na I just want to end my year so much better than I ended my last year. Because that's how I measure success, is contentment and happiness. And that for me is really the best luxuries in life. But of course, I have been, this is years in the making, me to get to this point. Not just 1 year, but years. Since 2017 is when I started considering pageantry. And grabe po yung growth ko overall. And again, 2023 has been a roller coaster ride of emotions. And if anything, I've just learned how to really walk the talk, like I mentioned earlier, and really utilize the platform that God has given me to better the millions of lives of people on the autism spectrum, to utilize my voice, to utilize my creativity, to amplify all of that, and to use my multifacetedness to really empower as many people as I can, of course.
Thank you very much.
Calling the Philippines my home. So to represent all of us was not the hard part. But the hard part was representing a pageant powerhouse country. Siyempre, we will always be one of the most critical fans, one of the most critical supporters. But also because, just like me, the Philippines is very multifaceted also. We all have very unique stories to tell. We have very beautiful tourist destinations that we need to highlight. But over all of that, there are still so many micro stories that also need to be highlighted, not just from the past, but also in this modern day age where there are so many things that are being innovated, so many things that are progressing. And in my journey, I wanted to do a modern take on almost everything. I really wanted to make my mark, not through my own self, but because of the beauty that the Philippines had to offer. And I feel like that's why the Bayanihan spirit was so loud this year, is because everybody knew that what I was doing was to make all of us proud. So that was my goal, that was my intentions. And sorry, what was your second question?
As a beauty queen,
Biggest advice was, paklain mo, anak. You know, my mom is the queen of the gays. But when I came back, there was a video of me hugging her when I arrived in Ia. That was the first time I saw her after El Salvador. And what she said was that there wasn't anything that I could have changed, wasn't anything that I should have changed, or, you know, minor tweaks, because in her eyes, my performance was flawless. And my mom was one of my biggest fans, but also one of my biggest criticizers. And full of love, of course. We all love my mom. But ayun nga, she didn't have anything for me to change. She was so proud of what I was able to do on stage, and so proud that I was able to make my own unique mark on that stage as well. And to your second question, actually I did not label my walk. So walks are usually labeled by the fans, by the supporters. It was, I believe, just destiny that everything fell into the label of the snake walk. I am very privileged and to even have a name for my walk, because I guess that's how you know that you really made your mark. So again, it's out of my control to know what the walks are called, especially in Miss Universe. My goal was just very simple, to make sure that everything was elevated from my Miss Universe Philippines performance, because I know that I'm not perfect and I don't strive for perfection, I just strive for progress every single day. So my performance in El Salvador was just a product of hard work and dedication, and knowing that there's always something that I can improve on. Thank you.
Open member of the LGBT community. So how do you think or see your being open helps you with your advocacies?
The thing about me coming out, it was not a product of thinking that it could better my journey, because it did not affect my journey. If anything, the reason why I did come out was because people tried to take away my story, take away my narrative, and the best way to address that is to take back your story, take back your narrative, and take control over that. And of course, that was an amazing way for me to also empower anybody that might be going through the same thing, to never allow anyone to take your story away from you, because we all function in our own unique timelines. We should not be identified based on our sexual orientation, because again, our individuality is worth so much more than how we label ourselves. Ang dami-dami ng labels sa buong mundo. We don't have to force anybody to have those labels. And of course, through that representation, I know at least one person can feel empowered over that. But my whole journey this year has been about authenticity, about embracing my story and what I had to offer. That is admittedly something I did not embrace in my first 2 chances in the national level, but it's something that I fully embraced this year. And hopefully through embracing that short hair, through coming out, through really championing for my advocacies, it really represents breaking boundaries and changing stereotypes and empowering as many people to feel that you don't have to fit into a certain mold to become whoever you want to be. You don't have to fit into yung kinasanayan natin na long hair or ganitong itsura ng beauty queens. We can constantly break those boundaries, and everyone should feel that they have the capacity to become Miss Universe Philippines as well. And I think it's through those actions that I can really empower as many people as possible. More respected. I believe that collectively, through my journey approaching Miss Universe, I think a lot of people had doubts on what I'm capable of doing, what my whole agenda was. But again, I think while I was in El Salvador, everybody saw that Siyempre kasi that's months in preparation, and what people could only see was snippets and teasers of what I was preparing for in El Salvador, and everything just came together when it was showtime. So of course I know that there were so many people that had doubts, but at the end of the day, at the end of my journey, everybody is very proud to be Pinoy, and that was the goal. Thank you. I credit a lot of my personal growth, my mindset, because of my Chinese side, actually. My grandmother, the late Regina D, was my biggest life mentor. Of course, when she passed away, I felt the biggest loss when she did. Of course, that also stems down towards my father, who was raised by my grandmother as well. And it's because of them that I truly learned the value of giving back. My grandmother dedicated her whole life to making sure that she can positively affect as many people around her by founding Inner Peace Foundation. My father also gives back as much as he can through his hepatitis C advocacy as well. And through their example growing up, I didn't feel the need for them to press anything onto me, because I could already live their life through what they're doing and what I see them doing with the platforms that they have. And that's something that I believe resonates throughout the whole Filipino-Chinese community, that we should be able to use what we have to create a better environment, not just for those around us, but for a greater community as well. I mean, the agenda is very simple, which is to, make sure that we positively enforce and create opportunities for those around us. I mean, we're not trapped into a label of just being Filipino Chinese, because again, we are dugong Chinese, but dugong Chinoy. But of course, we love the Philippines. Pusong Pinoy po tayong lahat. And yes, that's something I believe will do. And I hope it also leaves lasting impact on everyone. Then, just like my mother, I won't force her to follow in my footsteps or in her grandmother's footsteps. But I'll just let her live her life, gain as much life experience as possible. And if that's the path that she chooses, then I will support her 100%. But I do hope for a son. Hopefully one of each, correct.
May nag-text din pala, tatlong journalists, sorry hindi ko na-accommodate. May tanong for Dr. Cecilio Pedro. Ano daw outlook niyo for
Ay, hindi. Kasi sa akin yun. Yung wala ka.
Saan dito? Ito?
Ay, pinaka-huli. Ako, wait lang.
Mga abante. Ngayon, kunahin mo pala kasi. Sakay to.
Nawala.
I like juggling so many things. I like working on the different facets of myself. Of course, I wear very many hats and I have very many responsibilities, and I wouldn't be MMD, I wouldn't be Michelle Marquez D if I only focused on that.
Were you able to relax?
No, Christmas days. Yes, I think that was the first day and I didn't have something scheduled. But of course, with a busy schedule, I always say busy is good. So just keep it coming. Hindi walang mababago.
Okay, last question ako.
Siya, ano yung mga movies na nakaline up mo?
But liberty to say pa po. Pero abangan nyo na lang po. Maraming parating next year.
TV series, meron din.
I'm currently part of Black Rider po sa GMA7.
Ano masasabi mo sa maraming nag-ship?
So, right now,
Ano po masasabi niyo sa maraming nag-ship sa'yo?
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa aking career. I'm very grateful. Marami pa nga abangan for next year. Not just one, but maybe two, maybe three, maybe
for mga ships magiging masaya next year.
Michelle, last na lang.
Thank you so much.
Thank you po.